Hi, my name's Katie and I'm going to be making Jerusalem artichoke risotto. Okay, so this is a Jerusalem artichoke. Last summer we got in our weekly box of vegetables some Jerusalem artichokes, and we had absolutely no idea what they were, what they tasted like, or what to do with them. So I went to the Silver Spoon, which is a great, apparently an old Italian cookbook that has only recently been translated into English. And I looked up Jerusalem artichokes, and one of the options was Jerusalem artichoke risotto. So we tried it the last time that we got Jerusalem artichokes, and it was incredible. The thing about risotto is that once you start cooking it, you really have to have everything that you need to add to it ready to go.
Look at all this baby stuff. That cookbook sucks.
It ought to be called Bland Indian.
What's the consistency like? It looks kind of like a potato.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a potato. Feels like a tuber. It just says slice them, so it doesn't say how big, it doesn't say, you know, what shape, it just says slice them, so. Okay, so one of the keys to risotto is basically making the rice, because risotto is Italian for rice, with stock, so that the stock gives some flavor to the rice. I'm sure you could make your own chicken stock. You could, you know, buy it from some fancy store. I don't mess around with that. I just make bouillon. I've got a medium-sized saucepan with about probably 6 or 8 cups of water in it, and I'm going to throw in some vegetable bouillon. So I'm going to fry up the onions and garlic until they're maybe slightly caramelized. I'm going to use part butter and part olive oil. The other thing that's important for risotto is to have a flat-bottomed pan. You want to have a lot of surface area for the rice to be cooking on. So the onions and garlic have been cooking for about 5 minutes. It's probably like medium-high heat. And now we're gonna throw in the artichokes and let them cook just in the oil and butter for about another 5 minutes. The artichokes have been cooking for about 5 minutes. I've stirred them occasionally. And now, as per the recipe, I'm going to add a ladleful of the hot stock and let them simmer for about 20 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. The stock that we put into the artichokes has mostly reduced and they've softened up a little bit. So now we're going to break them up with a fork. So now we're ready to add the risotto. So this is arborio rice. The recipe says 2 cups of rice. I'm not big on measuring, so I'm just going to throw some in. I'm going to add the broth, start adding the broth. So from this point forward, when you're making risotto, you're committed. As you're adding the broth, you have to be here to keep stirring it and keep it moving. So this is where I like get a stool. I bring the crossword. What's a 5-letter word for drunkard? Starts with S. Just sort of get ready to be in for the long haul, and it might take maybe 20 minutes or half an hour for the rice to be essentially al dente. So the only way to really know whether or not it's done is to try it. And you want the rice to have, you know, a little bit of texture. You don't want it to be total mush, but you don't want it to feel chalky at all in the center. So this is done. To finish it, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to add some grated Parmesan cheese.
strong. It's good.
Judging from my risotto experience, I would say this is one of the best I've ever had. Raw.
The flavor of the Jerusalem artichokes is actually really subtle, but it's very earthy, and really makes a nice complement to the risotto. Risotto in general, I'd say, is a huge pain in the ass, but it's worth it.